Hi team, good evening and also good morning. Thank you for joining today's session. So before we start today's topic, let's try to do a short recap on yesterday topic. That is previous class topic. So we started with the types of functional testing. In the types of functional testing, specifically unit testing means it is done by the developer. So they code unit by unit and they test it. So unit testing will happen. And later it came with the integration testing. So all the component wise developed, we will integrate together and give as a single product to the testing team. So from here only testing team comes into the picture. And whenever I say that, see, it is like we have so many environment. Environment means here we used to say QE environment and SIT environment. After that, UAT environment. So these are all the words. So system and these two are called system integration testing, user acceptance testing, which we are going to see today. So what this environment means is simple URL. URL means, for example, www.google.com. That's an URL, final production URL. So before that, localhost will be there, like 192 point something, some numbers will be there. So that will be used by the development team, and they will have their own development environment. In that, the testing team will work. After that, they develop the code and they come convert that to jar or war file, and they deploy it and give it as another URL. That is what QA environment. So whenever I say in the class, its environment means it's a very simple URL. In that URL, we are going to test it. I'm putting everyone on mute. At the end, you just note down all the queries we will discuss. Now, integration testing, we have already learned. We integrate everything together and test it. If I am going to test all in a single go, after completing all the development, they give it as a single product. I'm going to test, that means big bang approach. And then comes incremental step part by part, we are going to test it. In that bottom up means from the lower module, we are trying to test it. But what is the problem here is we can't have any prototype, like a working product. That's one problem. And then comes with the top down. So here we will have a working product, but the problem is so many steps we need to create it. To solve this problem only, we can combine both the top down and bottom up, which is called hybrid model. And in that, the stubs and drivers. So this will be a part of an hybrid model. All the advantages, disadvantages, we have already discussed it. Now, today we are going to learn system testing and user acceptance testing. Actually, in the system testing itself, we will do the end-to-end testing. So I think I have to, okay, I'll remove this. This is what the right one: unit testing, integration testing, system testing, user acceptance testing. So like this, within that only so many types of testing we have it. In that, we also have something called smoke testing. Smoke testing means what? The developer created, they coded and they deployed something into the environment. We are checking whether that build is stable or not. See, it's a build verification testing. It gives a confidence. Yes, the important functionality, maybe like 2 to 3 important test case, they will execute. If it is working fine, yes, it is go for the testing. From here only, we are starting the testing. Testing team mainly comes here. Then comes the smoke testing. So after smoke, it comes the sanity testing. So in the sanity testing, what we will do, they have given like 3 to 4 requirement they have coded. Those requirement, we will test it. That is what sanity testing. Instead of testing the entire application, what is developed and what is already the requirement which is having some issues, and those functionality we will test it. And then comes the regression. The regression means you made a changes in the code. Due to that changes, whether the entire application is it affected or not, if you want to test, that is called regression testing. See here, you have a circle. This is regression. Okay, you made some development changes they made. We have to make sure already some of the requirement which was working, no, that should not be affected. So in that a subset comes the sanity. In that a subset, sorry, in that a subset comes means smoke testing. So this is how the testings are carried out. And how to a regression when it comes, we can able to retest all the test case, or we can choose the test case according to the requirement, according to the release plan, and we can also prioritize test case. Mostly in the real-time scenario, once we start a release means, okay, this is a first release, quarterly one release, quarterly two release means functional team will be having all the test case existing. Okay, these are all the functionality we need to test it. So they will have it. Mostly they will not retest all. This will happen, or this is a place where automation comes into the picture. Mostly manual testing will not be done doing the regression test case. So this is where they will pull the automation team, start automating the test cases of regression suite, which is widely used, multiple times used. So those things happens here. Okay, now we will move on to today's topic, and that is system testing. What is system testing? This is nothing but level of testing that validates complete and fully integrated software product. So what do you mean by complete fully integrated software? See, initially we integrated maybe 50 requirement or 60 requirements. So we integrated and that was given to us. So we did a integration testing. But now what we are doing, the entire from the starting till the end. See, the main purpose is to evaluate the end-to-end system specification. So from the login till, if you take an e-commerce, you're going to register the user. That register user should be in the database, and that register you're trying to log in. Email verification is done. Either you're registered using the email ID or your phone contact. OTP comes, successful login. Search the product, compare the product, add the product, and then payment. Payment multiple ways are there. After that, what happens? Successful payment, whether the money credited from the account, so notification, message, mail. After that, the delivery process started. With that, it is not stopping. That is your flow. Actually, there is another flow. That is delivery process where it is reached from one source to the destination. It is properly reaching. So whenever it reaches that location, they update it. Whether when they update it, it will say no near to the hub of your location. Like that, end to end, whatever related to system. See, that is what very important. It focus verifying the functionality and very important performance and overall quality software under real world condition. So we are going to see in depth, then you will get a better clarity on this system testing. 1 minute. So there should be some objective, right? When we start doing the testing. So here there are 4 objectives. Of course, some objectives are repeatable. That is validate the functional requirement. See, you're going to test it means according to the requirement. And functional requirement means what? Functional testing. Functionally, it will work. In addition to that, this is the place where it comes the non-functional testing. New word. Not functional means performance of the application, what it suddenly crashes, what will happen, whether the software we can able to install, uninstall properly. So these testings also come into the picture. And by combining this, we have to make sure the end-to-end behavior is good. Of course, when you do the testing, the main objective is defect. This identifying the defects will be in all the stages or all the types of testing by default. This too by default. Testing according to the requirement, finding the defect. In addition to that, in the system testing, what we are doing, non-functional testing also we will be considering it. Okay, so it has its own characteristic. We have already learned black box testing approach. So what is, we give some input. When you give the input, you should get the output. This is what the black box testing. We are not considered or worried about what is the internal code. So that is what done here. And the end-to-end testing, just now I said placing the order till you get the confirmation, we will do it. And this is again a very, very important. See, in the when in the integration testing, we saw, right? I will put integration testing here. Okay, for this, I have to make you understand. See, you have the development. In the development, they will code it. They code it means what they should do. They should save the data, right? So they will have the DB. And this DB, a dev environment. So they will have a database. In that, they will have a table. They will save all the value. Once this full coding is done, they will give us the GUI. In means the front end with the URL. So what you are, for example, you want to search a user means what will happen? It will go to the database, then it will display all the details. So this is what happens. So this DB, the data is testing data, a normal data, a dummy data. So in the dev team, they will have dev environment DB. After that, when we come for integration testing also, the DB not that much. The data is not similar to the real-time data. But when they come for system testing, when they come for end-to-end testing, what they will do, the environment similar to production. So what is this? This word will come everywhere. Production means exactly how it is in the real world. So in the real world, for example, if you go, okay, Gmail database of product main environment means they will have a database. In that only our username password will be there. So when you log in, what is happening? It will go to the database. It will check whether your username, password, both of them same. Then it will give, okay, this is the right user. We can able to check our mail. So this is the main environment, real term live environment. Like that, same like that data, they will create one DB. Remember, they will take a catchy, they will, there are so many process done in the development side. I'm just saying a little bit additionally. So they take the real data, they change everything. And it will, for example, 16-digit credit card number. They will first take all the real credit card number, real user, and they will, I forgot that name. They will try to override, they come up with somewhat similar to real credit card number. In like that they will create a database. So in when it comes for SIT only, normally in real time system and integration testing only we will say SIT testing. So they will have something data related to the real time. In that we will test it and we will try to find the defect. So this is what one of the important step in the system testing while doing the end-to-end scenario. And then comes the comprehensive testing. So here comes the not only functional testing, non-functional testing, working according to the business requirement. All these are all the characteristics of system testing. So now I will tell what are all the types of testing. Suppose if you are a functional tester, what will you do? In that, where automation comes, where non-functional testing. In reality, you are not going to do all the types of testing. We will do the functional testing here. That is, we verify the system feature was work as expected. Okay, you're searching something, whether we are getting the expected results or not. And then we will do the usability testing. So, for example, you take a mobile app, how an user able to use that? Is it a user friendly? Can able to understand clearly? Like that, they do some usability testing. One example I will tell. This I recently I felt that we have ATM. You go and take a money in ATM. We have HDFC, we have SBI, and there are some bank. They also have the ATM machine, right? You go and see their interface. It is very tough for you to understand that user friendliness will not be there. Some such banks is also there. Suppose when you may be from HDFC, you want to take money in other bank ATM, the interface or the front end, the options will be very tough. It means what? Usability testing is not properly done. So this is a very important when it comes for the system testing. And then comes regression testing, which we have already discussed. That is, it is going to verify the recent changes do not negatively impacted because of the impact the existing functionality. So it means what? You have already 50 requirement. Now one requirement is added. Because of adding this one requirement, rest of the 50 is not affected. We have to check it. That's what regression. Of course, it will be done by us only. Manual testers will do this. And in this place, from this place only, the automation comes into the picture. And this also automation comes. This cannot be done by the automation. Manually only we can check the usability, color, blindness, many things you can check it here. And compatibility testing. Here also, no automation plays an important role because see you have an application like let's take 150 test case. If you want to test 150 test case, at least trust me, it will take 2 weeks of time if you have a very good team. By doing manual testing, the same 150 test cases you want to check in Chrome browser, Firefox, Safari, Edge, different operating system, Linux, Mac, and then comes with Windows. So how can you do that? It is impossible. This is the place it's impossible for functional testing to do it. So the system testing will be done by the automation team. We say if you do this for different browser, we say cross browser testing, cross OS testing, the operating system like that. Different devices means where it comes the mobile testing. So these are all the biggest scope area where automation plays an important role. So this ensures the system works on different devices and different network configuration. Simple example, Europe, US, iPhone users are very high because of their buying plan. When we take in our country, Asia, or you put it even in China, the brands will be different. We have a different dominant mobile phone. So it's not like I'm releasing an application, it should work only in the iPhone or not in other phone. No, we have to test it in all the devices. Or if it is a banking application, internet banking, I have to make sure it is working in all the browser because we never know what the customer is going to use. So these types of testing will be done in the system testing. This is a very big topic. And this is also a very interesting one, localization testing. This actually it checks according to region, language, cultures, many things. So especially when you take an Europe market, English is not a dominant language. Trust me, they will have an English, but the main URL when you type it in Germany, if you are searching some trainings, it will come in German. and France means it will come in the French. So the first primary language will go for their own language. Of course, you will have in the top ENG, German, French, Dutch. So many languages you will have it. So this type of testing they need to do it. Same thing, you put it into that UAE side. Arabic is the first preference language. You first it should load in their own language, then you can change it to the English. So this is what localization, what in that location, if I am going to test, how it is going to work. So this is also another biggest testing scope. Automation comes into the picture. See, for this, we will have an on-site coordinator. They will do it in their region because we need to set up their environment, or else they will give the VDA of their region, that IP related to that region. We will test it. That's one thing. And banking means in all the languages, banking those rules and regulation should display. So languages. So this is when it comes for automation, what is the interesting factor is we can able to trigger the test case according to the IP configuration. So we can do the configuration. Okay, you're going to test the scenario. No, I will take the IP, latitude, longitude of the that particular region. In the test case, I will give that setting. That's it. We can able to test it from here itself. So again, automation plays an important role. We can also do it this manually, but again, we need to do a proper setup for this. Very important testing, but this is not big deal when it comes for Canada or UK or US project and all localization. They won't give that much importance, but Europe region, other countries, they give more importance. And then comes, so till this, that is regression, functional, usability, compatibility, this and all, it can be done by functional testers. And apart from functional, now becomes a non-functional testing. Non-functional testing itself, we have so many types of non-functional testing. So one is performance. So we are checking how the system is able to withstand if the load is high. For example, how the website performs when 1,000 users access to the simultaneously. So they check the performance testing here. Evergreen example in India when we file income tax. I hope you all remember it is with the Infosys. Every year at that time they will get an escalation. We gave this much amount to Infosys. Still, why the websites are not able to withstand that load? Because they have projected these many users may log in or will submit at the end of the day, last day. But even after that, also the load becomes very high. So it means what performance testing is not properly done. So we have to check those things. I quoted this because every year this will happen. You can check it in the news, tax filing. And when it comes for e-commerce, I never heard that Amazon, Flipkart got down because of user. They are very well planned. Did a proper performance testing. And then again, you can check Netflix, OTT platform. They have to check they have to do the performance testing properly. We have a separate performance testing team. They have JMeter, Gatling, many tools are there. See, this itself a very big area. Like how we are learning functional testing, that much equivalent topic we have to learn for the performance testing. Not in our scope. Again, this is also a separate team doing the security testing. So mainly whether we are able to protect the data and prevent unauthorized access. So if system locks an user after months, there are some test cases we will create scenarios. You entering same username and password, whether the account is getting locked. Simple scenarios only we will do it, but many things are there in the security testing, loophole of the programs, many technical stuff. Again, this is also a separate roadmap. like how manual testing one roadmap, functional testing, another automation testing, another comes the performance testing, security testing, performance automation testing also there. So again, a bigger area. Then comes the recovery testing. So again, what they do, they try to crash it. See, the system ability to recover, purposefully they will crash it. After crashing it, whether I can able to recover my data from the hardware failures or other disruption. So e-commerce website site resumes correctly after server crash. Again, IRCTC website, still almost I'm saying for 15 years, still during that call, the page will load very slowly. Can't able to fix that even now. So their performance testing issue. Sometimes what will happen, not now, I did long back, that captcha will, that image captcha will not display. So these types of issues will come, but the recovery testing is fully crashed, not responding. After that, how quickly I can able to come into the application. This is a very important testing before going to production, especially healthcare. All the US project they are doing an operation. Just imagine, without system, any whatever be the medical field, everything is computerized. They are doing some operation. Suddenly, system crash or that application crashes or that live things go went wrong means it's going to be a big impact, right? So they have to make sure all those scenarios are tested properly. Again, a very big area. According to the domain, these things will vary. Installation testing. So verify whether we can able to install, uninstall correctly. While doing uninstall, whether I can able to delete my previous cache records, which I have already used it. Such things I have to do it in different OS, or if it is a mobile testing, different mobile phones, I need to do it. So these are all the types of system testing. So why it is very important? Because this gives the 100% assurance. Okay, the system performance as well. It is working from end to end. In case if there is any issue, I can come quickly into the picture. Since we saw this word, no, there are in the recovery testing, there are so many advanced things are there. For example, you have the GUI. Additional thing, you have the database, you have another database. I can say it's a server. So what happens is you will be communicating with the server. This is technical part, nothing wrong, learning it. When you have communicating with the database parallelly, it will taking a backup. This is operational side. This again, by chance, if this get crashed, within few seconds the connection will go to this. That is the technology we are now. That's why this is all task of DevOps engineers, operational team. So now even if server crash, they will have so many servers, multiple servers. They keep on cleaning the data. They make sure all the servers are quick. Suppose if anything crashes, quickly they will create another server, give connectivity. So all operational stuff they try to do along with the recovery testing. So after doing this, we'll get okay, our product is perfectly working and we are tested according to the software architecture, business requirement, and this helps us to understand what will be the future live issues or bug even after production. So I didn't release the product. Before that itself, I can come to a conclusion and give the fixes accordingly. And this is nothing but the regression testing. You have something. See, the system testing uses both existing system and a new system to feed same data in both and compare the difference in functionality. So again, already something is there. Now I'm creating another new thing or adding to that. Is it properly working? Or the same setup, I'm trying to do it in another system. Is it? I'm checking whether in the both system it is similar, or there is any lag, or there is any speed issues, performance issues, such things I can able to understand when I do the system testing. So that's about the system testing. Now we'll move on to the next one, that is called user acceptance testing. Again, this is also an important topic. UAT. Usually we say this is an UAT in the IT term, or acceptance testing they say, but user acceptance testing. This is the final phase. Remember, this is the final phase. So what actually we will do is where the actual user or stakeholder test the system to ensure it meets the business requirement and expectation. In simple word, this testing will be done by the not the development team or the testing team. It is done by the customers or the user. That is what definition say. In reality, they will not test it. Very, very less probability for that. UAT testing also will be done by the testing team. In whichever the project I work, we will have a separate test case, separate environment, separate database, separate data set. In that, testing team only will do it, because we will aware about all the flows, right, from end to end. So we can do much better UAT. But what the book definition says, it will be done by the stakeholders. Again, we check according to the requirement, is it working or not? And it focus on the main focus, whether I can deploy it in the real world environment. That's the final environment. And can it handle the practical business scenarios? So what is the main objective here is business goals are met or not. See, we started with the requirement phase, analysis, coding, then design part, unit testing. Lot of things happen. At the end, we have to check it, right, because it is going to happen for months. In between, so many requirements would have been changed, which is not known to, it may be known to a development team, but not known to the testing team. This communication gap will be always there in the real-time project. So in the UAT, they have to make sure from customer point of view, so everything is working according to the requirement they expected. And it identifies the gaps. See, that is what they say. Communication gaps, requirement gaps. Identify the defects. This is going to give more confidence to the user, and it reduces the post deployment issue. After putting into here also, actually here also, there is another word we called as pre-prod, pre-prod, pre-prod test, pre-production. So before putting into the production, pre-production. This is also same like in SIT itself, I said they will have an environment like production. Actually, this is the main area. They will have such things. Again, I'm saying theory and reality is different. In theory, we have unit testing. After that integration testing. After the system testing. After that now UAT. This is what we learned. But unit testing by dev team, SIT, we will do it. Then we will go to UAT. In this only, we will have the data like production. This is what we say. Reality. This will be done together, not as a separately. Here itself, they will have a two team. That is functional team, non-functional team. Accordingly, they will do it. So in UAT, then what is the main characteristics of UAT? It is performed by the end user or stakeholders in simple, who gives the money, who going to use it. Business requirement, real world things, final validation before releases. When you go for see the difference, understand the difference, not see. When you go for ISTQB certification, you have to stick with these points. But when you come for real-time interview, you should know what is happening in the reality. The reality is different. Okay. Key characteristics also we are done. Why we need this UAT is very simple. That is, see, the developers code software based on the requirement document. They have their own understanding. Definitely, technical guys' understanding will be different and may not actually be what client needs from the software. So this when happens when you have a waterfall model, they gave the requirement and our development team is working, testing team is working. Now only who comes? The customer comes, UAT comes. So now they know this is not the one we gave you for development. So this problem was that. That is why they came up with what? V model. Even better than this agile model. In agile model, every requirement product owner is there. Product owner means a person from the customer point of view, or not, I should not say point of view. Uh, from the customer, they appointed a person. That is what the product owner, stakeholders. So the product owner knows about the requirement, take care of everything. Okay, are we doing the right product? So this point again, not in every model, but main idea is of UAT is to understand the gap, and requirement changes during the course of the project may not be communicated effectively to the developers. Sometimes this happens. You may think developer means sometimes you may have multiple development team. One of the requirement may not be communicated to the other development team. Same thing will happen to the testing team also. Some testing would have been happen. The testers, for example, on the course, they will say something is now a requirement change. We have to complete. Can you please test the scenario? Means maybe the SME or the experienced resource, what they do, they will test it. They will find the defect and put it. But that lead or the person who tested may not updated the test case. Suppose person went off the to the another project or change the company, another person will come. No, that person may not aware about what are all the changes happened. So these types of issues are very common in all the phases of the testing. But here they are very specific about the requirement change. As I said, who do it? Client and the end user. But in reality, it will be done by the QA team only, to my knowledge. There are some very specific thing it will be done. Very few projects I have seen like that. That will be done from the testing team will be there, but from the customer will do it. Now, what are all the types of UAT we have it? So we have something called alpha testing. So what does alpha testing mean? Suppose you have a company, okay? In that, you maybe this application is used by, let's take 100 user. So from that, they take some 10 user, a very limited group, and in a controlled environment, they try to test it. So it is like a not everyone is going to do it. Just few people they try to test that application. Once it is done, okay, this is good, then they put it into the beta testing. So beta testing means what? It's a very broader group of external user. See, all this we are talking in terms of who? External user or stakeholders. Remember that I'm not talking about UAT is not about the testing team or development team. It is all about the user. So first, maybe a certain user, then comes the beta testing, very broader user. So sometimes what they happen, let's take WhatsApp. Some of the features, first they will not put it into the India region. First, they may put it into an Europe region or Canada, with the places where you have very less number of population. And once that is successful, that feature is properly working, then they will try to push it to the broader audience or user. So this is another example, alpha versus beta testing. This is an important interview question. Everywhere they will ask, what is alpha, what is beta, what's the difference between these two? And then comes the contract acceptance testing. See, when you are going to MOU, you signed an project, you write the contract. So many steps, so many points will be there. So there will be a separate team. They will validate whether the software meets those contract terms and conditions. This is a very strongly seen for the healthcare project, banking project. Why? Because wherever the data is going to create a problem for company or for the user, there this all three will be taken foremost care. Definitely no one want, you don't like if your health report is known to others, right? So healthcare very sensitive area. Same thing banking, credit cards, bank balance. You should not allow others to know it. So these are all under defense. Defense projects are there. Government internal defense project. For example, NASA giving a project to SpaceX. There, these are all will be seen very strictly. Of course, they are also going to have a geo application. They are going to test all the stuff, but these and all the terms and conditions will be seen, and the regulation acceptance testing. So it complies with the legal and regulatory requirement of that particular region, because if you take it as a data, we, to my knowledge, in India or the Asian region, the data is not that much strict rule. But when you take EU, Europe region, the data's regulatory is very, very complex. So that's why every time you see in tech news, Google, Facebook pay a very big penalty to the Europe region. The data is not properly, they didn't keep it, the data is leaked, they didn't follow the regulations. So this is all done by their own user side. And then comes the OAT, operational acceptance testing. So this is again focused mainly on backups, recovery, user management, all operational point of view. These testings are done. So these are all the types of UAT testing. So what is most important is alpha testing, beta testing. Even in the automation, when not leave about automation, when they want to release a browser, I'll show you now itself. Just a second. Let's take, I'll take a selenium dot dev just to get you better clarity. Every application will have this alpha, beta. So they take, okay, I'll take the browser. Let's take Edge, let's take Chrome or Firefox, whatever it is. Number 3 standard Chrome test. Anyhow, I just give it, okay. Here itself, see a beta channel, dev channel, canary. So this is the browser version which is stable, means there is no big issues for us. Okay. And this release, so they are coming up with some new feature. They are trying to do it. Dev team and beta team. Finally, it will comes to the stable. Once this is very good, beta version is good, then it will come to the stable channel. So many apps, if you see it in the tech news, beta, whatever it is, beta only we say, beta version softwares are launched in the market and they came up with the feedback and then it will come to the stable version. So this process is there for any type of application. Again, automation you take in terms of Chrome browser, Edge browser, same thing, they will try to do it. Okay. Okay, then comes gray box testing. So what we learned is two types of a testing. One is white box testing, another one is black box testing. White box testing is done by the dev team. Black box testing done by the testing team. And there is something called gray box testing. So here again, it's a simple guess. This will be done by whom? It will be done by the a mixture of both the white box. See, white box talks about the internal code structure. Black box talks about external stuff. So they doesn't know unknown. But when you add white plus black, there comes gray. A is also correct. E is also correct. Okay. A is also just saying grammar. So here the testing team will know little bit about the coding and they will try to do the both testing. That is what the subject says, theory says. In reality, we will not see the development code. Trust me, you sit with the development team in the agile project, you will not have enough time to go and talk to them and work with their code. And it's not like development team, they have a code come, you also know the coding part, right? You just help me. No, it will not happen. But theoretically, it is a mixture of both white box and black box testing. To my knowledge, when I worked with the agile team, what is the maximum thing I can help for development team is there is something called the build process. There are some build process, automated build process I can able to create it. Like that only we can help the, or as a tester, little bit technically I can do it. But in general, gray box testing and all, it's for theory only. So it is a software testing technique to test the software product application with partial knowledge of internal structure application. And gray box again. So what they are saying is the purpose of this is to search and identify defects due to improper code structure, improper use of application. So testing team going to find the defects of the development team code. Just imagine, is that possible? Means not at all possible. Okay. While testing a website, for example, a tester clicks on any link. You have a link. There comes some error. So now the gray box tester, what they will do, it will go and in that particular web page, have to go and fix it. So for that, the tester must know what is the framework used by the dev team, HTML code, all the technical stuff, the tester must know. If the tester knows all these technical team, why have to be a tester? We'll go and join as a development team, no? But still, I'm saying for the knowledge, we will learn it. Gets an error code internal. For example, this code, this error code we are getting, it means why you're getting such reason. And tester can analyze that and fix it. Like that, they're saying. Why to do gray box testing? It gives the benefits of both black box plus white box and combines the input of a developer as well as tester to improve the product quality. And this testing is done from the user point of view rather than designer point of view. These are all some important point of the gray box testing. Trust me, I don't believe in this gray box testing. It is not done at all. If you have a very good development team, you have a very good rapport, because in reality, I'm just saying you have a team. Let's take if it is an on-site, you have a testing team, QA team, dev team, then database team, DB guys, architect. Not everyone from the same company. Everyone will be from different company. One from Cognizant, one from Infi, one from some other company, Wipro. So how come a TCS company code will be shown to an Infosys guy? He come and do it. So reality, things will not happen. Let's assume everyone from the same company. In that way, also, very rarely the dev team will say, okay, see, the local host means first, like they will have some local host URL. That URL they will give to the testing team. Okay, you can do the automation testing even in this URL itself. You can do the manual testing, mostly they will not give. Automation testing in the local environment, we can start doing. We call it as in sprint automation. In the same sprint, from day one onwards, we can start the automation. That is the maximum thing a testing team and a development team combine together and work. So know the difference. So finally, we have seen all the functional testing. So these are all the key aspects. Whatever we learned, put it into the points, and it has we can able to find early defects. It meets the requirement, improve the software quality, enhance user. Again, interview question: why you are doing a functional testing means I had this until then. We have a good document, business logic, data integrity, complaints, and see these and all you have to must say complaints issue, regulation issues, giving the confidence. It is also having a drawback. Drawback is incomplete test coverage. It means not properly tested. Some of the requirement is left. Nowadays, this is not happening. Everything is properly planned. That is why we have a test manager. Development team have their own manager. They will have a clear plan what to test, how many test cases, how many scenarios. Everything will be there. They will not leave you to do this. Of course, it's a time consuming. You're doing it manually. Limited scope. Of course, we have many things are there in the testing, right? Feedbacks later stage, but if you go for agile, this problem is resolved. And when the system becomes very complex, this is very important to my knowledge. For example, there are something called batch processing. Batch processing. Some test case, for you are putting some, I'm talking in terms of okay banking sector. So you are going to send some money now from one bank to the another bank. It will not go very quickly. What will happen? This all data will be consolidated. They will have one time. In that time only, they will run the batch process. So the money will get credited. So that process will be done by the another team or another company. So there will be a very difficulty when you do such type of testing. So you have to communicate with that particular company or particular team. We say usually external team. With them, we have to coordinate and complete such test case. This is one of the biggest, what to say, complex thing or drawback also you can say. These types of test cases we will not take for the automation. I just want to say that one. Maintenance overrated and documentation also depends on the project. If you work in the service-based company, they will not leave this point. First documentation. After that only everything. Real world environment, non-func. Yes, this is very common thing. Not non-functional testing will not be done in everything. It is at the later stage only non-functional team will come into the picture. Very less number of resources will be there, and the subjectivity in acceptance testing. So these are all some drawbacks. Mainly, this is the main thing. Complex non-functional testing. We don't have any idea about how the real world or real data in that how we are going this also somewhat we can able to resolve it. So with this we have successfully completed the types of testing, and now means from next class onwards we are going to start software testing life cycle. This is where we are going to work. So it's these many phases are there. Okay. So where I'm going to do it means, trust me, if you are going to be an entry level QA tester, maybe less than 1 to 6 or 1 to 3 to 4 years experience, you will be working here. Environment will be done by, there is something called TDM team, test data management team. They will take care of the test data. Environment setup will be done by the dev team. Everything will be given. So we have to write the test case and they execute it. Test closure. So these two steps will be in reality, if you're going to work in a testing team, this two only you will be doing it. If you are a lead level post means, then you will be involving in requirement analysis. Again, this is not in all the model, but nowadays mostly followed by the agile. You will create the test plan and you will have the team. In the test plan, many things are there: objectives. Are we going to do performance testing, non-performance testing? It's all about the budget, scope of the project, timelines. We will discuss all those stuffs in the test planning. And again, the leads and the managers and all will come in this part. So how we are going to target this particular thing is, we will give more importance to this particular area. Okay, test case development. After completing that, I will move on to the management or manager or test lead topics like test planning, estimation, return of investment, many things. And this 3 point, if you know properly, you can go and work in any type of a functional testing project. We are going to see these things, these topics in the upcoming classes. So keep noting down all your queries whenever we will try to discuss on those queries. So that's for today, team. Thank you so much for joining. I'm going to first end the stream. And Zoom guys, please stay in line. We'll discuss on all your queries. Thank you, team. Good night. Mostly I plan this weekly two class, Thursday, Tuesday and Thursday. I plan to come live. Let's see how it goes. Once we complete the syllabus, practical section, then we will go for the interview question. That's the plan. Okay, I'm going to end the live stream. Thank you, team. So